Hello there, how are you? I know it's been a little while. My name is Anthony Gray, and you're watching another episode of Grayscale. I've been gone for a minute, recently returned, so I'm very slowly getting back into this thing here. I was watching a tutorial by a good buddy of mine, Ben Stivers, and he was using the technique of underpainting. That's what it is. That's the word I'm looking for. Underpainting, where you would essentially, excuse me, you would essentially paint your painting, okay, and in one color, so you get all the shades and the tints and the tones and the gradation of color value into your underpainting. And basically, what you're going to do is put your natural colors on top of your finished underpainting. All right, and it's usually done in acrylic, and you would paint over it in oils traditionally. Can you do it with acrylic? You most certainly can. The technique involved in doing underpainting is pretty much the same with an oil painting. It's just using obviously different mediums. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I do have a medium. It's glycerin, all right, with a little bit of shampoo added in it, but it's an extender and it's a good medium for glazing over also. And that's what I'm going to do with this. Now this is just a typical landscape water scene. Okay, it's got the basic elements. You got your sky, your mountain, your trees, the land, the water, and a big old rocket for the foreground and whatnot. Okay, someone had asked about the process, can it be done for acrylic painting? And yes, it can. And I'm just quickly going to show you how that process is done. Okay, the colors that I do have, which will already be on the screen somewhere up here already, would be burnt sienna, phthalo blue, sap green, titanium white, cad yellow, and cad red. I don't think I'll need any more than those, because any color that I need, I can just mix those together to get what I'm looking for. All right, so first off, what I am going to do is to take my 2-inch flat, and I'm going to glaze the entire surface. Now, with acrylic, all right, just make sure that the acrylic is totally dry. This is 11 by, or is it 12? I think it's 12 by 14 inch. This is canvas paper. Okay, great practice paper. I do a lot of tutorials, so it's just more cost efficient for me to do it on paper. Either very thick watercolor paper or canvas paper. All right, it's meant for that. And like I said, I'm going to take the glycerin. Now, glycerin, you don't need too much of. Okay, I'll just put it on here real quick. You don't need too much on. You scrub it right on there. Now, glycerin, when it gets in contact with the air, becomes more lucid. Okay, so you truly don't need too much of this. Like I said, when it gets in contact with air, it becomes more lucid or watery. So trust me, you don't need much of this. That's why I'm scrubbing it on the way I am. Okay, I'm using the very little bit on my quote-unquote canvas, and I'm just wiping back and forth just to get a nice even distribution for this. Okay, like I say, it gets more watery as the air touches it. And basically what you're going to do is, quite frankly, color all of it in like you would do a magic marker or a crayon. All right. So I'm just drying off the brush here, and we're going to continue right along. I'm going to use a 3/4 inch flat here. All right, and I dip it in some water, get the brush kind of loose here, and we're going to start obviously from the back, going towards the front. All right, I'm going to get the smallest amount of phthalo blue because it's such a strong color. A little bit of white into the phthalo blue, nice little sky color. All right. Something I shouldn't have done. Should have loosened it a little bit. But like I say, all I'm doing really is just evenly, as much as I can, put the blue on there. The tones and the shapes that was put on with the sienna is going to show through the blue without necessarily changing the color too much. Okay, I'm just mixing up some more of the phthalo blue and white, plenty of white in the phthalo blue. Now, you could use a soft blending of white, which might be a little bit better. I'm using titanium white, which is extremely opaque. All right. And once again, just little X strokes here and there. I don't have to add too much on this because of the opaqueness of the white. And I have, like I say, once again, the glycerin on here. If you feel you may have put too much on, it can be easily wiped away also. But basically, all I'm doing really is just filling in the sky. Yes, I'm going over the trees. It really doesn't matter. Now, I got a little bit of the paint on the mountain itself. Take your finger, wipe it right off. That's okay. Okay, it's fine. Just like so. Now that I've done this, you can take your finger, you can go over and take away some of the color off of the treetops also. Okay. Now that I've done that, remember the glycerin is wet. Okay. You can wipe some of that away. It doesn't matter. Okay. Let's take a little bit of white. I'm just going to do it with the flat brush still. I'll tease in a few clouds in there. Just taking the paint on the corner. And I'll just tap a few. I want it kind of strong on the top. It'll lightly fade away into the blue. It's just all pure white. The color is going to mix in. I'll put it right here. The color is going to mix in to your blue. Okay. So it's okay. Something like that. See how easily you can get the cloud bottoms. Come up from the top here, and I'm gonna just have to go past the the tree itself, just like that. Get some of that brightness. We're gonna take some of that brightness. We're gonna go past the just like that. Go past it here, and you're just establishing a little bit of depth in your sky, just a little bit. I'll throw in some stronger highlights in there. There we go. Just like that. And I just pat it away in the bottom there. Okay. You can pretty much have these any way you want. I'll go right off the tape. Keep it flowing along. Just like that. Wipe it away. And just have a good time with it. Like that. I really don't need too many. It's just an example to show you exactly what you can do. A couple of wisps of the clouds here. Let's get a little bit by that peak. Only using the corner. Just like this. And come on down. I can go right into the cloud, it doesn't matter. Or right into the mountain, it really doesn't matter. And just tap away what you don't really want. Just like so. All right. Just say you automatically got activity in your clouds, in your sky. Not too difficult. All right. Like I say, you're basically just coloring it in. All right. Okay. Now, for Mr. Mountain there, I can take, all I basically want to do really is just gray out the mountain a little bit. So, if you're kind of familiar with your colors, let's take a little bit of the green and red, because I want to just gray out the for the mountain. A little bit of green, a little bit of red, 50-50. When I'm mixing these together, obviously the gray or the red and the green, they're gonna kind of brown themselves out, which is fine. Okay, especially if that's what you want your mountain color to be. I'm gonna take a little bit of white and mix it in. It gives me a brownish gray color. And you don't need too much of it, because remember, this is all a series of glazes now. And you can always build upon these. Okay. So hopefully this isn't too thick. I'm gonna put some of this on here right now. I'm gonna get a little more titanium white. The more white you use in this mix, the grayer it will become. Okay. But it's gonna be gray, but a little bit on the brown side, up to you, how you want it, and the ratio of the color. It all depends on what you're looking for. And now I will just put in this color right over the mountain itself. Now as I'm doing this, remember you put it on thinly, and if you feel you put it on too thick, it's also okay, because you can wipe it away and lighten it up again. Okay, and you'll see in a second, because I can just take this and just wipe it away, because you still want to see your tones underneath. Okay, so as I'm doing it, right over where the fog would be, all of it, and you put it right on over there. If I feel it's too much, I can always, like I say, wipe some of this away. So you basically put it on fairly thin. Okay, now I dried off my brush, I'll wipe away some of this, because you want to see some of those tones in there. And so I'm just scrubbing a bit away here and there. Like, you still want to see the tones. I'm just wiping off some of the paint. As it dries, you'll still see the tones and the shades and the different values in Mr. Mountain here. Just like so. And we're going to highlight some of that mountain. I'm going to take a wee bit, I'm going to use the smaller palette knife for this. You don't necessarily have to use a palette knife if you're not comfortable with a palette knife. Now I still got some of this light color. I'm going to get a little bit of titanium white. I'm going to mix it in with this brownish gray that I have. And we'll work with the shading or the highlights of the mountain. Wipe off a little bit of the color. Okay, I guess I can zoom in a little bit if I can reach it. And we're just going to lightly, if I can get it right here, there we go. And bring it on down like that. Bring it on down here, just like so. So we're not going to dwell into it too much, but just get little highlights going here and there, just like that. There we go. I don't like that part. Let's fade that out of there. There. Get rid of some of that. But basically, what you're looking at is me just introducing some of the highlights in there. Come down, like so. Bring some of that over here too. A little tinge of that shading right in here, just like that. Just like so. Let's find my little brush. We're gonna add a couple little taps in there, just like that. Remember, it's still pretty wet. And we're gonna fade some of that up there. We're gonna cross some of that, just like so. Now I'm gonna take some titanium white, just a little bit, and we're gonna kind of highlight some of that mist in there, just like this. Just tap in a little bit of mist right down in the bottom. That's up to you if you want to add a lot of this or not. It's really your discretion how much of it you might want. Okay, just like that. Bring it right up in there like so. You don't have to really exaggerate it like I'm doing, but it's just an example. Just like so. Okay. I'll get a smaller brush, one with softer hairs, and a little back and forth. Just blend some of that down in there a little bit. Just like that. I don't want it, I'm mixing it in with a little bit of white. Like I said, this painting is just an example. Okay. Just a little swath of color there. And I don't want to totally overlap the color down beneath it. I'm going to go in the other direction here. just like so. This is a little too dark. This is a little too much, so I'll take some of that away here. I'm just using my finger. I'll wipe some of that away. I'll use some water, loosen it up a little bit, and I'll just wipe that away. Because if it's something that you don't like this, I will take it, just like you see, and I'll just get rid of it. Wipe it right off. Because remember, the underpainting is totally dry. And just wipe it away. There. Because I don't like that. I can redo that. So you wipe it right away. And I'll do it again very light this time, just kind of something like that. That's fine. Just like that. Just bring some of that dark around there. Just like that. Okay. That's basically all I need really for the shadow part. And if it's a little too blatant, just tap it in. You can soften that. And all I'm doing is just tapping it, bringing the color, toning down the color a little bit. Just like that. Just tone it in there. There. Just like that. All right, we're going to work on the foliage out here. So I got some sap green. So I got a little bit of sap green. I'm gonna lighten it up again with a little bit of the cad yellow. And basically, just like you did the mountain, okay. Let's put on this light to see if you guys can see it a little bit better. And we're gonna go in and we're gonna just color it in. Now, as I'm doing this, you see me doing this. Like I say, some of the tones will maintain in here. Okay, a lot of the shapes and the colors will maintain. I'm getting a little more yellow, a little more sap green, just a little bit. Just a little bit. No medium is added because the medium is already on the canvas. And you're just coloring it in. Just like so. Put it right in there. As you can see, I'm using a heavy bodied acrylic paint, Grumbacher acrylic paint. But you're still applying it thinly because you don't want to totally make your underpainting disappear. Okay. And you can just build upon it and build upon it and build upon it and build upon it. You'll see shortly. And basically all I'm doing is coloring it in. Okay. I'm gonna do the other side also. I'm getting a little more sap green, a little more of the cad yellow, making a nice little mix here, a little more yellow. We're gonna come here on the other side and you can do the same thing. Remember, you're putting it on thinly so you can see your tones and shades underneath. Even the highlights will show through. And we're gonna build upon this as we go along. You'll see. Because even though I'm coloring in the pines back here, it's still just a ground layer, so to speak. And plus it kind of allows your eyes to adjust to, you see, now I've already know what I'm aiming for because obviously I painted it. So I can pretty much know where the color should go, more or less. Just like so. As you can see, the highlights are still being shown through, even though it's all umber, or sienna rather. Okay. Now that I've done this, okay, let's establish maybe, I could take a different brush and do it. We're going to establish some of the pine shapes and whatnot. So we're going to use a different, deeper color. I can go with the natural sap green itself, or I can darken it with a little bit of red. I'm gonna take a fan brush. Okay, just take a fan brush. I'm gonna go into the sap green, a wee bit of sap green, a little bit of red, just to deepen up that green a little bit. Okay, that's giving me a pretty deep shade here. Get a little more sap green in there. Okay, no medium, just all paint right now, because your underpainting and your tones are already there. So let's start on this side here. We're gonna just add a few, just a few little specks. Probably more on one side than the other. Just a little texture here and there. Now as I'm adding this dark into some of these guys, we're going to add some trunks in there too. Okay, but as you can see, as I'm doing this, we'll add some highlights in there too. Alright, I know you guys can probably hear the TV back there a little bit. Just like so. You're just adding a little texture. These guys aren't too close to you. And we're going to do the same thing back here. Adding a little bit of the darks. Just tapping away. Make sure you're looking at your painting. I'm getting a little cad red, a little green, matching the color I had before. Because I still wanted a little bit more on the green side. It's just going to be a deeper value of green. Okay. And just like so, you're not totally getting rid of everything. We're going to put some of that down here too. Tap a little bit of darkness in there. We're going to go on the other side. We're going to repeat some of that up in there too. Not too much. Usually around the waterline area, you darken it up a little bit. When it comes a little bit towards you, even though it's not totally the foreground, but just establishing a sense of depth. Okay, same thing up in here. I'm just taking the brush and pressing it upward a little bit. I'm not using any glaze on this stage of the painting. It's not needed. But once again, just establishing some dark tones. Because your underpainting is handling all of that, so it makes all of this a lot more easier, as you can see. All right, it looks like I've done a whole lot more than what's necessary. All right, now, as you can see also, even though the mountain's brown, but it's in the background, you can tell it's in the background. You see how the fog comes out a little bit more when you put the darker foreground in, even though this is technically the middle ground. Okay, so it all comes together for you naturally. You follow me? And this is a painting. When I did the underpainting, I wasn't really too happy with it, but as you can see, it's turning out a little bit more satisfying. But you know, some people would like them, some people will not. All depends. Now, because these are a little dark, I'm throwing a few trunks in there like that. I can lighten some of these up also, and I may throw in some trunks in there. If it's a little too thick, I can get rid of those too. A few lines of trunks and whatnot. Just here and there. Now remember, as I'm doing this, you're going to add highlights to some of these guys. Okay, so don't forget, we're going to add highlights to them. Okay. Now that I established a few of the trunks here, let's get some yellow and white. I'm going to mix it right in with that darkish green that I have. Okay, I don't want it to be totally white because then it will be mistaken for snow. And this is definitely not a snow scene. But we're going to lighten up the green a little bit. Okay, and we'll pop in some highlights in there, here and there. Just here and there. And it helps bring out some of that darkness there. And we're going to add a little bit of highlights on your grass a little bit, just a little bit here and there. Just like so. You can tease it around a little bit, what type of grass you're looking for. Just like that. It kind of wakes up your painting a bit. Let's go on the other side. We're going to do the same. Well, let's add a little bit, tease some highlights in there. Usually where it's the darkest, you can pop in a few. So be mindful, be pretty strategic on where you want to put some of these little highlights here. And sometimes a tap will do. And bring some up here, just like that. I'm just scraping in some more of that light yellowish green here. And we'll put a couple in here like that. And make sure you look at your painting as you're doing this. Okay. Just like that. All right. Not too bad. It's kind of coming alive there. Just rinsing off the brush. I think we need some firebrand in there. Let's get a little bit of that red. Now what I'm doing with the red, but just with the same flat brush, I'm just dipping into the red, put it right there. And I guess I have a little bit of like I said, a couple of firebrands in here. Now be careful with your reds, because your reds will attract your eye right to it, because that's just the way red works. Just like that. A couple more here on this side here, just a couple of. Just a few. And we're going to add a little reflections down there too. Put a couple of firebrands in there, just like that. Okay, as I'm just looking at it, I'm just examining and checking things out. A lot of my glaze is already dried. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glaze on my brush. Okay, I'm putting it on the brush into the paint mix that I've already had. Okay, which will thin the paint. It's all acrylic now. It will thin the paint. All right, and then I'll just put it right in there. Just like so. Put it right on in there. See, the underpainting's doing the work for you. All you're doing is filling in the color. And yet you can still add your tones and shades and whatnot into the water. Now this water has the glycerin in it. And when like I said before, when glycerin gets in contact with air, it becomes more watery. Okay, just be mindful of that. Just like so. Just put it right in there. Remember, all of your tones and shades are already in there. Okay, I'm gonna go downward, because I'm gonna add the reflections going downward. Now, as I'm painting this and I'm looking at it, it's starting to get watery as I'm doing it, which is fine. Absolutely fine. It's okay. Okay. Let's play around with a little deeper shade of blue down here in the bottom. Right down in here. I'll just like that. This is where you can have a little fun with this stuff here. So I'm just adding a little darker tone down here on the bottom. Nothing special, just a little darker there. All right, just like so. All right, now we're gonna get a little bit of the green. I'm gonna still mess with the flat brush because it's just a little quicker. A little bit of green, slight touch of red in there, deepen up the green just a little bit. I'm gonna take this flat brush here, and we're gonna get a little reflections in there, just like so. Thinner, and it gets thicker as you go inward. Okay, just like that. I might want it a little darker, so I'm gonna take a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the red. I want this a little darker, just like that. There we go. See, now it shows up a little bit better. Thinner, going thicker, just like that. Now see how it adds more dimension to your painting. Okay. pretty dark down here. We're gonna thin that up just like that. Now I'm gonna dry off my flat brush, and we're gonna go from right to left or left to right. We're gonna take it very lightly, don't press hard, and you're gonna bring it towards the front a little bit, just like that. Bring it right out, very gently, very gently. Have it come on out like that, outward. Gives the illusion of some floating, the water's moving a little bit there. There we go. Okay. See, it's not too bad. We're gonna go to Mr. Palette Knife one more time. Take some white. I'm gonna mix it in with that little bit of green in there or whatnot. It's okay. It's still gonna appear white. And I'm gonna go over here on the side. I'm gonna wiggle a little bit up in there like that, and bring it across. Some activity in that water a little bit. Don't forget the other side here. A little more white. A little press. Just like so. Bring some out there like that. A little activity in there. Like so. If you want, you can soften some of those out too, very lightly, go across. Keep it as straight as you possibly can. Up to you. Don't necessarily have to go that far with it. And if you don't like something, you can always wipe it away. I want it a little bit darker there. So I'm getting a little bit of green, a little bit of blue. I still want a darker foreground, so to speak. Okay. Down in here, I can darken that a little bit, just like that. Keep a little depth in there, just like so. Something like that. Just deepen that area in there. Okay. Let's get a little bit of blue, a little bit of red, a little more red, get a deeper violet color. I'm not going to add any white to it yet. I'm going to color in this rock, this dark fella right down below over here. Darken him up a little bit. Keep him a little craggy. Just like that. Now, the rock being as dark as it is, it's going to bring everything, push everything else backward. All right. But like I said, you don't have to necessarily use a palette knife for this part if you're a little shy of the palette knife. I'm going to get a little bit of white, mix it right in with this maroon here that I got, this very deep color. I'm using the flat area of the knife. And I'm going to take the flat area of the knife very softly, just like so. And not going to totally just like that. And we're going to get that a little bit brighter. Now when you use a brush to shade your rocks, it's going to give a different look, different feel to it. Okay, I'm going to highlight it with a little bright white only in certain areas. Go around across. Like that. Just here and there, not everywhere, not necessarily needed. Something like that. If I got it a little bit too bright, I'm gonna get some more of this dark medium or dark paint here, mix it in the red and the blue. And I'll bring some of that dark back in certain areas there. You can always bring it back, tone it down, bring it back, tone it down, bring it back to wherever it's fitting for you. something like that. Okay, as I'm looking at it, I think I'm going to tease some more dark. Now I don't have all of my lights on, so it's going to give you a different look than what I'm looking at right now. Going into my maroon, I'm going to get a little bit of phthalo green, put the green into this red and blue mix, because I might want a little more depth in, a little more darks in there. So I'll just tap in a few dark areas here and there. Not too much, just in between some certain areas. A little bit in here, just a little darkness in there, just establish some little more depth in some of these guys in here. I'm bringing some of that up in there, make things a little more mysterious. Down below here, and a little bit down in here too. And bring some of that downward like that. Bring it on down. Bring it downward. A little deeper in certain spots. Like so. It just kind of sets things back a little bit. All right. Okay then. Like I said, this painting, it really wouldn't take too long to do. A little shorter. Just an example. Go into my palette knife here. Spreading out a little bit of the titanium white, just a little bit. Bring it right across. And we'll strengthen up some of these guys a little bit. Just a little. So basically, this is what underpainting will do for you. Okay, it helps relieve a lot of the stress in trying to get your there we go. Try to maintain a straight line when you add your sparkles in the water. Also, that helps a bit. Okay. And like I said, I can take some of this white if I wanted to, and if you want to, and you can kind of go across the paint that you already have laid out. It will catch. Okay, just like that. Bring some of that down there, like so. Get rid of that spot there. Maybe we're gonna highlight a little bit of that edge there. Okay, now let's take off. Let's bring this camera back. I thank you rather for checking this out, and I hope this makes a lot of sense to you about how to glaze. Like I say, most of the work was already done in the underpainting part. Basically, you're just filling it in, coloring it in. All right, and basically, there you have it. Really, I mean, you can add some, you can scrumble in some fog or some mist. Like I'll take a little bit of white, just the smallest amount of white, and this is really up to you if you want to do this. It's your bravery test. You know, if you want to scrumble in some fog or whatnot, just like so. Scrumble it right in there, and nothing but titanium white. That's all in the corner of the brush. We'll have it come right across here. I'm just scrumbling some fog in there. Come right across the water, just like that. Come off the page a little bit. I'm gonna have it come right across the water. Try not to have any hard edges. Let it just float along and do what it wants to do. Have it come around across the water here. And all I need is just a corner of white, titanium white. Have it come up across here a little bit, just swim across, float across, just like that. So we got a little fog that's come on, a little mist coming across. Okay, let's have some red across here too. Just come on across, right up in there. Little misty stuff running across there. Just scrumble it on in there. Have it come across. Just like that. Have it come across a little bit. Don't be afraid to experiment. Have a little fun with it. There. So you got a little mist coming across there. All right. Make it look a little more natural. Okay. And quite frankly, there you have it. I'm just piddling along now. I got some of the flat brush, a little titanium white. I'm just playing around. Oh, because some of this is dry up here, so I can add a little more deep highlights in there, like that. Don't necessarily have to press hard. Just let it do whatever. Just like that. Come across here a little bit. Okay, like I say, I'm just playing around right now, having a little fun. There, like that. I won't mess with it anymore. Thank you for watching this. I hope it helps you out. If you notice on my banner, I have a PayPal button. So if you would like to donate anything to help me along, getting more canvas, more paint, and that way I can get you some more lessons. Feel free to click and donate what you will. And it can be 50 bucks, it can be 50 cents. Doesn't matter, every little bit helps. And I will greatly appreciate it. I enjoy doing these for you. I really do. But I think it's like a little world symbol up there, but I don't know if you can see it if you look at this on a cell phone, which if you're on a computer, you can see my PayPal link up there. It's the little globe right there on my banner where it says Grayscale Painting on the lower right hand side. It says it. I'm gonna throw in my initials here real quick. Just like so. And there we go. Thank you very much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Spending your time with me. And I hope that this, I'm gonna shut this light down here. Hope that this, like I say, I hope it helps you out and all that good stuff. Let me know what you think and all of that. And believe it or not, yes, this was all umber. Okay, the only thing that resembles the umber that I put down there is the mountain itself. So basically this is what would it look like if you chose the glaze when you're doing underpainting. And you know, like I said, you put on your trees, the trunks or whatever, and have a ball with it. You know, got the water moving around, got the fog over it, and the rock in the center. So all your depths and everything is still in there. All the tones and whatnot are still there. You're just putting a thin layer of paint over it, and well, there you have it. Okay. Even the blue is a little set back a little bit because of the umber, so it tones some of that blue down, and it makes the highlights of the clouds pop out that much more. Okay. And like I said, everything else is really just bells and whistles, putting on top of your initial underpainting. The better you make your underpainting, the stronger your actual colors and everything will make your painting appear. All right, with all of that said, thank you very much. Click the like button, subscribe if you would like. If you would like to donate a little bit of change, the PayPal button is up there also. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, and I shall see you again. Bye-bye.